Welcome to the Taiyang News and SNEC Solar Leadership Conversations here at SNEC Shanghai 2024. My name is Michael Schmela and I'm the Managing Director of Taiyang News. And I'm very happy to have with me Zhuang, who is the President of Canadian Solar. Canadian Solar does not need any introduction. They are in solar forever, driving the sector and being at the forefront of innovation. We want to just talk a little bit of how Canadian is strategizing in these challenging times. Jan, Canadian Solar was one of the few solar integrated companies that posted a net profit in Q1. Unfortunate situation for the sector, good for you. Just tell us a little bit about the secret. So what are you doing right?
First, let me explain to you my view about the industry right now, micro level. So, of course, the first thing everybody is seeing is the rapid price drop. And we also see some pricing that are very irrational. And we know there's a huge capacity that was built in the last 2 years. And so that's only one thing we're seeing, right? There are more. So we actually are experiencing or have been experiencing the geopolitical segregation of our worldwide supply chain. And we have to deal with a lot of trade barriers. And on top of that, we're also seeing the slowdown of gigawatt growth globally. The industry, after so many years of rapid growth, and now the growth is slowing down in terms of gigawatt. However, the industry continues to grow in the following three segments. One is in mature markets, we are observing value growth. So gigawatt is not growing that fast anymore, but dollar value is growing. Reason behind that is we have more contents added into the industry, such as storage, right? Such as anything relating to electricity trading, right? So energy trading related technologies and business models that are adding more value into the industry. So for example, in Japan, we're seeing the total revenue out of the industry is actually growing, right? The enterprise PPA related demand is growing really fast. And we're also seeing, number two, element of growth is actually the emerging markets. Because of the much lower capex of solar, the emerging markets starts to grow faster. Of course, that growth is not given because they have weak grid as well. So their growth requires not just money, not just currency risk that they have to face, but also certain storage demand is also coming up in those markets. Number three growth engines actually we're seeing that is coming. Mid-long term is the green hydrogen demand. That is huge based on the total subsidy globally coming from US, Europe, Japan, Australia. The total subsidy for green hydrogen exceeds $30 billion. So that will create a significant demand growth for solar in a couple of more years, 2 to 3 more years. And also, we all know that the data centers, AI growth, that is nonlinear growth, unexpected nonlinear growth with a lot of uncertainties on energy shortage. So we're going to see tremendous energy demand surge because of that. So it's a really complicated world. And so you're talking about our secret of being profitable. We're talking about, I think, number one, we try to prioritize profitability and cash flow more than just revenue, and more than just market share. And so that has always been our strategy. We believe in sustainability, not a cheap market share that has nothing to do with the loyalty and has nothing to do with brand equity, right? Because there's no loyalty there. And number two is we have a much bigger revenue and profit coming out of utility scale storage in Q1, which was significant. And also we have a bigger business in the high price markets such as US and Japan that are still profitable. Altogether, it made our profit looking better in Q1. I'm not saying the situation is particularly good to us. We could be doing better if the situation is getting better, but at least I think we have a much strong confidence in our business model and our product. Yeah.
Good. But you were also one of the first of the big companies who went really into the development when you took over Recurrent, which is now your development arm. So how much is this helping you?
Well, 9 years ago, we acquired Recurrent from Sharp. And at that time, everybody was spending money on expanding their capacity on mono. And we were the only ones spending $360 million acquiring Recurrent, entering into project development business. That strategically sets foundation for the company to be positioned as a global, leading development company, right? Project development company. That really helped the company to understand the end market better than our competition, and also helping us to take better control on the demand side. It basically is kind of an incubator for a lot of innovations on our manufacturing side, such as the storage, the utility storage, right? So tremendous helping us. And actually, the industry is in a transition process right now. It looks like all the costs are coming down. This probably going to last for many months. However, mid to long term, we're seeing energy shortage and appreciation of renewable asset. So this is actually a very good time for us to expand our business in development. And we're actually transitioning our development business into more of a project owning and operation company. So as you have observed, we have recently absorbed an investment with BlackRock of $500 million at a post valuation of $2.5 billion. And we also are securing loans in different regions, and particularly in Europe, we just secured a bank loan of $1.3 billion US dollar. So that will help us to expand our IPP business. Of course, we're going to start from owning partially on the projects and then gradually increase our ownership on each of the projects. That covers US, Europe, UK, Japan, and I think Australia as well. Yeah.
Okay,
no, sorry, not Australia. Europe, US, Europe, UK, and Japan.
Okay, I think that's an interesting strategy. So at the beginning you said, of course, long-term future is bright. Of course, there's green hydrogen coming into the play, but we have this challenging situation now. So I think we have, I don't know, maybe all across the value chain around the terawatt of capacity. So sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. So this is there. Of course, some PERC is being phased out. So on the other hand, of course, then new TOPCon or other technologies are coming in. So I think the market was 450 gigawatts, and so that means the capacities are almost twice. So the question is actually, and I think this is also, that's really the biggest elephant in the room. So how long will this be, or will this be eventually maybe even structural? The IEA recently said in one of its reports, actually we have so much capacity, if we utilized all of that, we would reach net zero with that.
Yeah. So first of all, I think the total shipment this year is going to exceed at least 500 gigawatt. Total installation, AC is going to be 500, and the shipment is going to be 550. That's my personal feeling about the market. And yes, the capacity is there. PERC is going to be out in the second half. But we're lucky because we have less PERC. We only have 20 gigawatt of PERC. 5 gigawatt of the 20 gigawatt is in Thailand, and those capacity we can still sell a significant part of that into the U.S. And as you know, with the new policy, actually, U.S. is kind of complicated, and it will have a shortage of module. And in China, we have a lot of 210 PERC capacity. That is, I think we can still sell some. So yes, PERC will go away, but for us, I think it's going to be less impacted because of the less total capacity and the fact that we can still sell part of that. And so as I said, the industry is taking a transition from a rapid volume growth into a more sustainable value growth. So you can't just look at the gigawatt. You cannot just look at the gigawatt situation. You need to look at the dollar value of the industry, especially in the mature markets. So that's why we're rapidly ramping up our revenue and profit in storage, on utility storage, and industry and commercial and residential as well. So that is a growing, still in the fast-growing trend. Modules, the growth is getting flattened, but storage is still rapidly growing, and also is highly profitable, outside of China, of course. So that's where we take an advantage, and also the fact that we can still sell a lot of volume into profitable market on module like US and Japan, really helping us. And also important is we start to bundle ourselves, module plus storage plus inverter. Remember, we have our own inverter on both small inverters and also utility scale string inverters that we start to bundle them and sell to the customers. So customer actually never needs such a low price module. But if you corner them, if you force them to take low price module, why not? So don't force them. So give them a solution that bundles everything. That you present a value, not a pricing. So this is, I think, the overall trend of the industry is you need to sell value instead of pricing. And this is exactly what we're doing. So don't overemphasizing on market share and shipping volume for the module companies, emphasizing on their revenue and the sustainability of the revenue and profitability. This is where the industry is going.
And the question is, of course, total solution is the buzzword of the day almost. But how can one differentiate there? So because I think that's what all the big ones are trying to do now. So they try to do packages. Some go even into battery cell production, some go into producing electrolyzers. So that means we have vertical integration, now we have this horizontal integration. But the question is, how much is healthy to stay also focused and offer actually solutions that make sense?
First of all, the industry's boundary is evolving, right? It's changing. We're still a young industry. The boundary of the industry is changing, so the business model for a company should continue to evolve, right? So bundled solution is it's unlike module. Module is a B2B product. It's part of a solution. So it's very much standardized, right? Standardized technical support and standardized after-sales service. For bundled solution, you're not just selling functionality, you're also selling customer experience, you're selling your service. So you need to be responsible to the end customers. You need to have teams in the profitable markets instead of just trading of module. You need to have team there. So this is exactly what we have been very strong at. We have much higher penetration into the channel with our teams overseas. We have more people in Japan, more people in Europe, more people in the US than any other companies. And they have been selling into the rooftops, the families all the time. And we continue doing, we leverage this strength and offer this bundled service. So that's why we're so successful. For utility scale storage, for example, in the US, we even offer turnkey. right? It's not just selling the equipment or just doing a very simple system integration. We're doing turnkey, right? So to do turnkey, then you need to take much higher responsibility and liability. And we're doing the same thing in the UK, in Europe. And this is how we can earn trust from the customers, because we have the in-market capability. We have the brand name. We have the financial the financial book that support our ability to take the liability. For example, the PCG from our CSIQ company, right? So all those things combined will help us to actually grow our business on value side, not just on volume side.
Okay, so let's maybe talk a little bit about this changing world, which you all already mentioned. So we have this this trend that once a world that was thought to be almost one combined place is now more and more defragmenting, and so more and more countries, regions getting protectionist. So what's your diversification global strategy? So I think yesterday you just inaugurated your factory in the US. Can you just tell a little bit about how your global strategy is in this regard?
Well, so we have always been more globalized than our peers. So that is a known fact in our industry. And I think as I give a speech 2 days ago in our US factory opening ceremony, the grand opening, and one of the main themes that I presented to the audience is our culture of being multiculturalism, and we believe in global local, and we're there in the US to earn trust from the local society, and we believe that the globalization of the manufacturing of our manufacturing business is a must, and to do that successfully, we have to learn how to build trust globally. And how do we, that include, you have to trust and delegate your local team and be part of the, embrace the local culture and be part of the mainstream economy. So this has been always our culture. As you can see in all overseas markets on the commercial side, all the leaders of local team are from local, hired from local. We never send people from here to overseas markets. So I think we're seeing a lot of increasing barriers of globalization because of all the the geopolitics, but we also see this as an opportunity for us. It's getting more difficult. It's getting more important. Whoever can do that will earn more benefit. But that benefit has to be shared with everybody, even the society that we're operating in. So that's why we are actually very open-minded and dedicated to actually build our capacity in the US. So the first module factory of 5 gigawatt has already started producing. And the second factory will be in Indiana on sale. That is $840 million US investment. So I think that will help us to grow sustainably growing in the US market.
You mentioned that you've been actually one of the pioneers in going abroad and local production. But when you look at your first experiences, it was also not always easy, right? So we look at Brazil or Canada. So what's changing now, actually? So how can we, or why is it now really getting profitable?
Well, I think the globalization will help us to gain access to the more profitable market. So that is what I'm saying, right? So if a manufacturing business in China cannot globalize, they stay in China. We all know all the manufacturers are in China, and not all of them can get into those high-price virtual markets. They will stay in China and other low-price market and competing on pricing. So this will continue to be a Red Sea market. So if you want to be profitable, you have to go out. You have to go out and not just go out, but also you need to learn how to merge into different cultures. You have to build the powerful team into the markets, and you have to learn how to delegate. And most importantly, you have to create value for the community, for the society that you're getting into.
Okay, good. So maybe a final question. So you mentioned it already earlier. So that we've seen this tremendous growth globally in the last few years. That was obviously also driven by the energy crisis. So people were starting to think about energy security, and so something solar was not necessarily connected with in the past. But okay, prices have come back to, I don't know if we can call it normal, but at least to pre-crisis levels or close to that. So that means that driver is somewhat gone. So we are seeing continued growth. Of course, there's now price elasticity kicking in. You mentioned that. The question is still now, how fast can the industry grow? And I think that's also probably the billion-dollar question, because if you look at, for example, installed capacities, generation capacities, and the output, I think I just looked at it up recently, and solar produced last year only 5.5% of total electricity output. So that means theoretically there's huge potential, and this is only power, so that means energy is not electrified a lot. So that means there's even more potential. So that means, isn't the question rather how to unleash that potential quickly, so that the market then could be also easily a terawatt plus market per year?
Yeah, so it's two-side story. One side is on the supply side, and not all the capacity are equal. You have some capacity that are invested by a company that has no brand name, no experience, no channel in our industry, right? And you also have investors, companies owns capacity that is can never achieve the level of excellence on their product, because the entry barrier in the N type is getting, actually higher. So this is what we are observing. A lot of the companies, they coming from other industry, they actually invested a lot of money to steal people from other company. They build their capacity, and then halfway through, the market came down, and they slow down or even stop, and they lose their team. So that happens all the time, every day. So I think the good companies with good brand name, with good technology and channel, they will survive, and the others will falling apart pretty quickly. So I think that industry consolidation is happening. It may not be completed this year, it may move into next year, but I think that is happening, and in the next year or so. So on the other hand, demand side, I think on one hand is the growth of storage will help to unleash the great capacity in many markets, which has been a barrier, and especially in the market with high solar penetration, like U.S., especially California, Europe, right, and Japan. Those are happening. And another growth is the carbon neutral effort from the private sectors, from the company, the enterprises. That has something to do with policy. So policy is also very important. How government can revise their policy to encourage more storage installation, to speed up permit, right? To speed up the permit process. A lot of the barrier on permit side is not, I think it's rather people issue. headcount issue, right? Instead of technical issue. And and also I think 2 more years, we're going to see a lot of demand on green hydrogen and green data center, which we actually try to get into. We formed a committee and the task force to get into those 2 areas. That will give us a lot of demand, additional demand. So this is what I call the horizontal demand, horizontal growth, right? Value growth is the dollar growth in the mature markets. Then you have horizontal growth into the emerging markets and also into the new use case scenarios such as green hydrogen and green AI.
So that means the barriers are often on the policy side, right? So
yes.
It's really, as you said, permitting and all these missing guidelines, double taxation for storage and whatever is out there that makes life somewhat difficult. But just imagine we fix that quickly. So could be the market an annual terawatt market? Is this imaginable?
Yeah, I think, yes, with all things that I have just mentioned, it is very possible. I think in a few years' time, it's very possible. We're in a transition. So in the transition period, you're going to see 1 to 2 years of slowing down. That is normal. But the transition actually means something is going to happen during that transition. It's waiting for those things to happen, so the transition leads to another growth. Because we're still so far away from what we need for carbon neutral on solar side. We're still far away. So that means we need another jump. But that requires some conditions that is happening during this transition.
I think that's a nice final words. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.